Welcome to the Explainer. All right, today we're going to supercharge your Java test automation. We're breaking down two key TestNG concepts that are absolutely going to change the way you write code: annotations and assertions. So let's just jump right in with a problem that I'm pretty sure everyone watching has run into. You start writing your tests, and before you know it, your code is just a mess. It's hard to read, and it's even harder to maintain. So take a look at the before on the left. This probably looks familiar, right? For every single test, like search test and advanced search test, we have to manually call login, and then we have to manually call logout. It's so repetitive. But now, look at the after on the right. Wow, so much cleaner. We've defined our login and logout just once, using these special labels. And how do we get this amazing transformation? Well, it's all thanks to our first big tool, annotations. You can think of these as the secret sauce in TestNG that lets you control the flow and execution of your tests automatically. Think of annotations as, little sticky notes you put on your Java methods that give TestNG instructions. They turn a regular old method into something special, like this one's the setup crew, this one's the cleanup crew, and this one over here, that's the main event. Looking back at our original way of doing things, it was just so clunky. We had to explicitly call login and logout around every single test. I mean, if you had 10 tests in that file, that's 20 extra lines of code just for setup and teardown. It's just not efficient. And this is the fix. It's so elegant. We just use @before method on our login task and after method on our logout task. We're basically telling TestNG, hey, listen, for every method I've marked with @test, could you please run this login code first and then run this logout code when it's done? Just like that, all that duplicate code is gone. That is an excellent question, and it leads us to the next level of control here. Because, sometimes logging in and out for every single test is overkill. What if you just want to log in one time, run a whole batch of tests, and then log out at the very end? So here's the key difference you need to remember. When a task has to happen before and after each and every test, you use the method-level annotations. But for a setup or a teardown that you only need to run one time for a whole group of tests in one file, you reach for @before class and after class. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. These annotations actually build up into a full-blown command hierarchy, giving you this incredible granular control over your entire test suite. So check this out. This table really lays out the whole chain of command. It starts way up at the top at the suite level. That's your entire collection of tests. Then you can drill down to the test tag in your XML file, then down to the class level, and finally, all the way down to the individual method. This structure lets you put your setup and teardown code at exactly the right scope for the job. And that quote is the perfect transition because it brings us to the second superpower for your tests: assertions. See, if annotations are all about when and how your tests run, assertions are all about checking if they actually produced the right results. All right, let's talk about a really sneaky problem, one that can make you think your tests are passing when in reality they're not. Using a simple if-else statement to check results can be super misleading. Let me show you what I mean. So you might write some code that looks a little something like this, right? Seems totally logical. You grab a page title, you compare it to what you expect, and then you just print a nice little message to the console. If the titles don't match, your console will say, test failed. Simple. And bam, this is the trap. Even though your console output is screaming failed, you look over at your TestNG report and it says passed with a big green check mark. So what gives? Well, as far as TestNG is concerned, the code ran perfectly. It didn't crash, it didn't throw an error, it just printed a message. So what's the right way to do it? You guessed it, assertions. A command like assert.equals to assert something isn't just printing a message, it's communicating directly with the TestNG framework. It compares the two values, and if they don't match, it tells TestNG, hey, stop everything. This test has failed. And that's how you get a proper failure report. Okay, but things get even more interesting. See, not all failures are the same. Sometimes you want your test to stop dead in its tracks the second something goes wrong. But other times, you might want to find all the problems before you stop. And that brings us to the difference between hard and soft assertions. So your standard assertion, people often call it a hard assertion, it works on a fail-fast principle. In this example, step 1 passes, no problem. But step 2 fails because B is not equal to C. The moment that happens, execution stops. That's it. the test is marked as failed, and step 4 never even runs. Well, imagine you're testing a big user profile page with, say, 10 different fields. You wouldn't want the test to just stop after finding one typo in the username. You'd want a complete report of everything that's wrong so you can fix it all in one go. And this is where soft assertions are a total game changer. They let the test keep going even after a validation fails. So here, step 2 fails. But the test doesn't stop. It just makes a note of it and moves on to step 3. Then the magic happens at the very end with assert all. That's the command that gathers up all the failures it found along the way and then finally reports the test as failed. Okay, listen up, because this is the single most important rule for soft assertions. You have to remember to call assert all at the end of your test. If you forget it, any failures that were found are just thrown away. Your test will incorrectly show up as a pass, and you'll miss the bug. Don't forget assert all. All right, let's do a quick recap. We've just added some seriously powerful tools to your testing toolkit that are going to help you write cleaner, smarter, and way more reliable automated tests. It really just boils down to this simple idea. You use annotations to organize the flow, the whole setup and teardown structure of your tests. And then you use assertions to validate the results, to actually confirm that your application is doing what you expect it to do. So by applying these two fundamental concepts, annotations for your workflow and assertions for your validation, you can really transform your test code from something that's brittle and repetitive into a test suite that's robust, easy to read, and genuinely maintainable.